Welcome back, our dear viewers. Egypt launches the Human Development Report program for the current year. The report monitors all aspects of human development, sustainable development's effects on climate change and the spread of the viruses, and the pandemics on the quality of life and sustainable development. The report also represents the effects of the Decent Life Initiative, or Hayah Karima, on improving the lives of Egyptian citizens, along with many other initiatives. To shed more light on the issue, we are very much delighted to be joined over the phone by Dr. Maha Mahgoub, our human resources expert. Good morning, Dr. Maha.
Good morning.
Dr. Maha, can you tell us about the state's Decent Life Initiative that is currently working to develop the different governorates in the country?
Yes, of course. Good morning.
Good morning.
We are so proud with the initiative, the President Sisi initiative, which has been launched in the early of 2019. President Sisi just called the state institutions and agencies in coordination with the civil society institutions to unify the effort between them and join coordination to launch a national initiative at the state level to provide decent life for the most needed society group. Of course, the main objectives of decent life is one of the main Egypt Vision 2030, which is aligning with the sustainable goals of development, just to ensure a decent life for most of people. And immediately after the President launched the initiative for the decent life, all state agencies moved in the direction of implementing this initiative to achieve the goals and stand by the needy groups in all fields, such as health, education, housing, and the government just allocated 103 billion Egyptian pounds for Decent Life initiative to enable developing villages' most needed people, providing all facilities, health, education, services, sports, culture. And up till this moment, around 15 billion Egyptian pounds has been consumed, just building infrastructure, schools, decent houses, providing good job opportunities. And of course, the Decent Life initiative based in concentrating the effort of the state with the experience of civil society. So the civil society is playing an important role in helping the state in achieving its strategic goals.
Yes.
They are the main pillar, one of the three main pillars, which are the government, private sector, civil society.
Yes.
We have some goals for the decent life, just achieving qualitative improvement in the lives of the target citizens and their communities. On the other hand, strengthening social protection for all citizens, just to ensure equitable distribution for developing gains, providing job opportunities and strengthens the independence of citizens by motivating them or by improving the standard of living. And of course, if we talk about the sustainable goals of development, goal number 8, which we are talking about decent job, decent life, entrepreneurship, empowerment. So this achieves the sustainable goals of development.
Yes,
and it's worth to mention that the initiatives began with selecting 277 villages where the poverty exceeds 70%.
Yes.
And allocating just more than 103 billion pounds for implementing and coordinating with 16 NGOs for implementation process.
Yes. Dr. Mahgoub, how do you see here the housing initiative for all Egyptians and establishing actually the 4th generation of cities in the Sustainable Development Goals for 2030?
Yes, of course. The sustainable goals of the United Nations just playing an important role. I would like to mention that it's international vision. It's not just reflecting to Egypt Vision 2030, but it's goals which reflects the improvement of the life quality to all people. The actual end, the main purpose of these goals just to end poverty, protect the planet, and to ensure all people enjoy and for peace and prosperity by 2030. And
Yes.
of course, this includes three main areas: in environmental, social, and economic. So,
Yes.
if you talk about economic, it's reflecting the people life, of course.
Yes. Dr. Mahgoub, to what extent do you see the importance of the initiative, the Decent Life or Haya Karima, in developing housing, education, and improving the different services, sports and training centers in the different Egyptian governorates?
Yes, of course. As I mentioned, that the decent life, providing a decent life, decent for most of people, and of course, until this moment, they had great achievement. For example, they have established 54 youth centers. They have established 925 new school classes. And I would like to mention as well that by the main objectives of Egypt's strategy, just by 2030, just to have the classes capacity, 35 students per class. And so if we monitor the achievement of the decent lives, that when they have built 925 classes, so it's achieving, it has a huge progress in achieving the goal. And on the other hand, about the achievement of the decent life, about establishing new health centers and the comprehensive health care, which will be implemented in 10 years to cover all Egypt, 100 health, defeating the cancer, breast cancer, defeating the hepatitis C. And the other achievement of the decent lives, that they have built 6,700 projects.
Yeah.
And around 100 million Egyptian pounds for training, for vocational training. They have spent 1 million Egyptian pounds for projects beneficiaries.
Yes.
And they have set the infrastructure and ceilings for more than 16,000 houses.
Yes.
On the other hand, they set 90 million Egyptian pounds as loans to develop small and medium-sized projects. Around 92 villages just has felt that the improvement about the infrastructure of the Decent Life initiative by repairing two roads, setting all infrastructure in their villages, and they have felt that the progress of these initiatives very well.
Yes. Dr. Mahgoub, give us your insight here on how the Decent Life Initiative or Haya Karima would contribute to the job opportunities for the young people here.
Yes, of course. If we talk about generating new projects, entrepreneurship, empowerment, just looking after most marginal people in villages and countrysides. So all of these will generate a lot of job opportunities. And it's worth to mention that during the international crisis of coronavirus, that all the world has been affected by the coronavirus consequences, and the unemployment rate has been increased all over the world. But it's worth to mention here in Egypt that the unemployment rate here decreased to 7.2%.
Yes.
So which is good indicator for our progress in getting rid of unemployment, poverty, and everything.
What about also the education? To what extent the Decent Life Initiative would help in solving and eradicating illiteracy in Egypt?
Yes, of course. Egypt has said before, maybe 2 years, educational restructure and reform, and transferring the education to electronic education or maybe digital education. And it's worth to mention that we are proactive.
Yeah.
So after the coronavirus, that we have seen that most of the world electronic online training and education, but when Egypt has a strategic vision to develop the educational system here in Egypt, and he just encouraged most of the schools to use the tablet and technology in the education. It's a huge progress. Aligning with building new schools and just of students to fulfill the huge population in Egypt. So we are aligning in the strategic goals for developing the education system by expanding with the schools. I just have new methodologies of education to be updated and to be aligned with the international educational standards.
Indeed, Dr. Maha Mahgoub, our human resources expert, thank you very much for your precious input and for being our guest for today. And with that, our dear viewers, we come to the end of this edition of The Breakfast Show, brought to you live by my dear colleague Mohammed Abdelrahim and myself, Mr. Rabia. We are both signing off at 4 till tomorrow with another crew. It's goodbye.